Explanations of the Book of Abraham's Facsimiles by Travis Wayne Goodsell. Explanation of the Book of Abraham's Facsimile number 2. Facsimile number 2 from the Book of Abraham is a hypocephalus, which is Greek for under the head. It was placed in the coffin of the deceased, under their head. It is a representation of the eye of Ra, and this one is a highly dilated pupil, which allows as much light in as possible. Figure 1. The pupil of the eye representing the center of the galaxy. The figure is Num Ra, Gardner's number C4, who is the creator of mankind. Normally, he has 4 heads. The rendering of 2 heads has to do with 2 sun planets at the core of the galaxy. The added writing on the upper left side is the water symbol, Gardner's number N35A, representing that this god is in the upper waters of the heavens, i.e. in space. The body of Num is Gardner's number N25. With the X and the water symbol again, it represents a foreign planet in space. This also represents the center or first of all creations. The 2 baboons with solar discs on their heads represent moons. LDS theology says that Earth was once one of these moons, but with the fall of Adam, fell the Earth also into our current solar system. Figure 2. This again is Khnum, representing an orbiting sun equal to the sun planet at the center of the galaxy. In his hand is a sacred stand with Khnum's animal totem, the ram. These sacred stands are like ensigns or flags, which the Egyptian symbol is the Egyptian symbol for the spirit intelligence or powers of godliness called the Neturu, Gardner's number R8, the stand being R12. Figure 3 represents Ra on his solar bark going clockwise around the pupil of the eye, the center of the galaxy. He is sitting on his throne, traveling his domain, wearing a robe over the right shoulder and a solar disk on his head. The 2 Wajid eyes of Horus represent Ra as having the priesthood authority of a seer, called Peter in Egyptian. Figure 4. We skip to the end of the course around the celestial center, thus representing a measurement of time. The hawk traveling on a solar bark represents the sky or firmament created by the Egyptian god Shu. Thus measurement of time has to do with one orbit. Figure 5. The bull in Egyptian represents the sun, and here it is being led in its orbit in the sky around the celestial center. Figure 6. These 4 are the 4 sons of Horus. For an explanation, see my presentation of the explanation of facsimile number 1. Figure 7 represents God in his aspect as the Egyptian god Min sitting upon a throne. His phallus is erect and his left arm is raised. Typically, it is a snake that presents the Wajid eye, representing revelation. It is the same as if it were a dove representing the Holy Ghost. It has to do with receiving revelation. A scribe taking the language of the Egyptians and the learning of the ancient Israelites could and would easily render this scene as referring to their father Abraham receiving the names, signs, and tokens of the priesthood religious order, especially sticking to the theme of the translation having to do with the life of Abraham. Figure 8. This is the new name of the particular deceased for whom this hypocephalus was made. The Egyptians gave their deceased a god name, and most of the time it was the god Osiris, who died and was resurrected unto everlasting life. Osiris Shishak is this person's new name. It was never intended for this name to be known to the world. This person didn't resurrect to celestial glory like Osiris, but instead became subject to the ravages of man. The rest of the facsimile that I translated was destroyed by an enemy of mine, so I have to redo the translation. But generally, the outer circle starts at the crown of figure 2 and likewise runs clockwise through the hieroglyphs, though the hieroglyphs appear to read counterclockwise. The outer circle talks about the character of the deceased, for example, telling that he is a virile bull.